I'd like to call to order the Town of Haymarket Planning Commission meeting, June 21st, 7 p.m. Because the chairman and the vice chairman are not able to attend the meeting, however, we do have a quorum, I would like to call for the commission to appoint a temporary chair for this evening, just the June 21st meeting. Do I have any appointees? I can do a motion to appoint, and if any of the commissioners would like to do a so moved, we can do that in a second. I move to appoint Commissioner Weir as the temporary chairman of the Planning Commission meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Third.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. Mr. Weir, you are the temporary chair of tonight's meeting, and if you would like to start us off with a roll call.
Roll call, please.
Weir,
Here.
Mason,
Here.
Cottle, Bayena, Hallett,
Here.
Correll.
Here.
Thank you.
All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Not going to stand on a whole lot of ceremony tonight. Entertain a motion for the approval of the May 17 work session and regular meeting minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I always thought minutes were ahead of citizens' time. Okay. Citizens' time. Anybody who wishes to speak and address the Planning Commission, now is your opportunity. Please approach the podium.
Hi, my name is Don Wooden. I'm the owner of Crossroads Village here in Haymarket. I've been probably before you a few times in the past. Today I'm going to speak specifically about the possible sign ordinances and zoning amendments, and thought it would be helpful to come tonight with an exhibit that could help you kind of visualize these things. So this is a tenant, which is Lidl Grocery. So if you look at the first page, you can see that would be considered a wall sign on the building. The distance from this perspective to where you see the sign is approximately 40 feet. So I'd be standing back about 40 to 50 feet and viewing the building on those two wall signs at the front entrance of the building. If you flip to the second page, the top elevation that you see, which is called the south elevation, is actually from Washington Street. But again, I'm midway in the parking lot, so I'm approximately, again, 50 feet, midpoint in the parking lot. I think from the Washington Street Road, we're sitting back about 150 feet. But this vantage point is about 50 to 60 feet back, okay? The third elevation, which is the lower on this page, which is the east elevation, that's coming in on the main road into the center. And if you can notice the size of the Lidl sign on the front of the building there, I'm standing at approximately 100 feet there. So you can see at 100 feet that sign gets smaller and smaller and smaller. But it gives you a good visual as to kind of how sizing works. And then the last page I'd like to reference is the actual sign itself. The particular elevations that you've seen on the three prior pages, that particular wall sign is 5.5 feet tall by 5.5 feet wide. That's how it's shown. We believe that sign, wall sign, is actually too small for this building. And once you get back on Washington Street, your visibility of this sign will be very limited in terms of its size. But it's good perspective, and it's good for you to have when you guys are talking about, what sizes of signs need to look like. The current zoning, I believe, is 9 square feet, which is 3 feet by 3 feet. So this sign obviously is 5.5 by 5.5 shown here. Also this is a LED backlit sign. If it were a wall-mounted sign, or excuse me, if it were a front-lit sign with a gooseneck, visibility would even be further impaired from, obviously, that far back. So this is with proposing it to be, or showing it to be, with the LED backlit. So I hope this could be helpful to you all. Just wanted to bring that forward. Emily and I spoke about it, and so hopefully as you're discussing it, that again, the third rendering, which is the east elevation, that shows you at about 100 feet or so back. Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good evening, Jim Payne, 6680 Fayette Street. Just have a couple just quick comments. Well, one, and I'm sure it's probably been asked and answered, I know Emily had talked about the $49,000 or sunshade or sun sale or whatnot. I'm just wondering if that's a one-time purchase, if it has a shelf life, if it has, how long does it last, because the sun's pretty brutal. That's certainly something we probably don't want to be replacing often. Also, I'm here, I didn't know if Village Crossroad was going to present. I know they had unanimously, well, almost unanimously passed the 2/2s, and it was voted down by council. And then they had the Starbucks, which was unanimously passed by PC, and it was voted down by council. So I'm just kind of interested to see if they've been talking to Emily to see what is going to transpire that's going to give them enough return on investment, but that's also going to pass. I don't know what the hinge pin is as far as what has to pass before they start development. I actually thought they were going to be finished before our building was, and it took us 5 times to the ARB and whatnot. That's before a lot of you guys were even on up there on the dais. So hopefully Emily has been in talk with them. I know I've been in their shoes before trying to get things through. It's expensive, to say the least, and on a small project, on one as big as theirs, I can't imagine. But anyway, thank you for listening, and I appreciate it.
Dottie Leonard, 14801 Washington Street. Thank you all for your service to the town. I just wanted to call attention to the rendering of their project for the Lidls or Lidls, whichever it's called. I'm thrilled that it's coming, and a lot of other people in town are thrilled that that's coming, and that Aldi's is coming where Food Lion used to be, so we don't all have to go out into the intersection and go to Walmart. And believe it or not, Walmart isn't always the best prices in town. They like to make us think they are, but they're not. So we're anxious to see Lidl's and Aldi's get approved. I agree with the applicant that the sign is unreasonably small. It's just common sense. And we've said for years that we're going to address our sign ordinance. And when you think about it, it still doesn't make sense that the Washington Street Realty sign is so huge and plastic and big 1-block red letters, and you can park right in front of it and see it. So the applicant made perfect sense when he said, if you're a long ways from the sign, it makes more sense to have it be bigger so that it's visible, and a wonderful store like Lidl's or Lidl's, whichever it is, people are going to want to know when it's there. My one disappointment if that is the actual rendering, is that the ARB has approved a contemporary style. So if you'll go back to them, if you have one more time to meet with them before you leave, you don't, well, I will. They need to make it go with our historic town. And I want to bring up again something that was discussed at the previous meeting when I lost it, to think that you would even consider having churches have a special use permit so that you can monitor their parking. It has never happened in the history of this country. Churches have been allowed in towns, counties, cities, states, in residential sections. They make special exceptions for churches. They don't make them get a special use permit so they can monitor how many people park in the parking lot. I couldn't believe my ears. And the other thing I couldn't believe, and believe me, I'm not going to stop with just saying it at this meeting. I'm going to take it to every other meeting that I go to. And because I head up a citizens group, they're all concerned about it too. One of the issues is I lost my train of thought, so forgive me. I have Parkinson's, and that happens sometimes. But one of the issues is that not only is that not allowed to, are they requiring a special use permit, but the other thing that came up the same night was, I'll have to say it at the next meeting because it just left me again. I had it and it left again. But anyway, thank you for all the time that you've been here. God bless you. I appreciate what you've done for the town and the ARB. You're only one person, though. You can't control all of them. I know that. So I'm hoping that they will now it came back to me, just saying that. I heard Emily say at the last meeting, and then Bob mentioned too, that there's an issue with the it's terrible. This happens to me a lot, but I always have it on my back burner. But that the 50-year, I have said over and over and over again, the 50-year age on properties is not what makes the historic overlay in the town. Please get it this time. It was things that were 50 years or more older at the time the historic overlay was declared. Those were the things they preferred saving. After that, it's not going to be Green Hill Crossing that's only 22 years old. It's not going to be anything else. Those things just need to look like they've been here all along. They wanted the intent of the ladies of the Historic Commission at the time, who were advisors to us who were on the town council, and at least 5 of those people are still alive. They're still in the area, and they're willing to come back and confirm that age of 50 years was not something that's going to be 50 years old 30 more years from now, and then it's got to have a special use. For one thing, the things that were made in the last 20 years weren't made very well, and they're probably not going to last 50 years. Some of the plastic-looking siding that's on some of the houses, what's in Haymarket Station, is hardy back. It's a cement compound siding. That will still be here 50 years from now. But some of the siding that has been approved in the last 7 or 8 years is not. And I think some of you graciously turned me into Prince William County for my property that has deteriorated. And it's deteriorated because it was being eaten up by termites for 50 or 100 years before I bought it. So I just come in and spend $150,000 trying to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, but it cannot be done. It will cave in. And so I'm saying all that to say, people on the ARB and you all on the Planning Commission, you're responsible to make sure that things go with the historic overlay. We don't get rid of the historic overlay, because if you get rid of the historic overlay, you can't piecemeal it. You can't say Green Hill Crossing isn't in, but Dottie Leonard's house is. You can't do that. It's a historic overlay that goes from one end of the town to the other. And in order to protect that, you have to go by the rules which said either the structures have to have been kept in good condition, or save them if you can, but you don't have to save every single thing, because some of them look way worse than my house. And I already have approval to demo mine. So I don't know why someone would want me to fix up and paint up a house that I'm going to demo. Does it make any sense to you? Would you spend the money? Would you spend the money? Would any one of you spend the money to fix up a house you're going to tear down? We'd need our heads examined, wouldn't we? But we'll let a judge in Prince William County decide, because that's what they set me up for. Thank you for your service again, and thank you for using your head for something besides your hat. Have a good night.
Anybody else who'd like to address the Planning Commission? Seeing none, we'll close citizens' time. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the Planning Commission work session and regular meeting minutes of May 17.
I'll make a motion to approve the Planning Commission work session and regular meeting minutes for May 17th, 2021.
Is there a second?
This second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Passes unanimously. Emily, Carter School site plan. Hmm?
You did both sets of minutes?
Yeah.
Carter School site plan is before us tonight. You have on packet page 7 the staff report, and then the following pages is the site plan. There was one question prior to the meeting regarding the handicap ramp that goes across the front of the property on Washington Street.
I circled it. It's best illustrated on.
You can see it on page 35, but
It's best illustrated on page, I can't read, 31, I think. This one, the lighting plan, you can see it best, because there's not a whole lot
Yes.
of stuff.
so one of the points that I just wanted to make on that is that that improvement and it is actually being completed by Van Meter with the Robinson Village overall development plan. And so the Carter School is only doing the improvements within their parcel there, and I can reach out to Van Meter and request the modification of the ramp to enlarge it.
Does everybody understand that enlarging the ADA throat to that ramp, since they don't line up, so that, my experience has been that if it goes straight, people tend to go, if the ramp is restricted to a straight only, people just have a tendency to wander that way and then they have to hook back. I just think it would be easier from a design standpoint if the throats on both ends were widened for those that may require the handicapped ramp access. Other than that, I can't find anything wrong with the site plan, to be honest with you.
Okay. If the commission is okay with that, that's an easy request. We can put into the developer and see what they have to say back, if they're willing to make that modification. Otherwise, if there's no other questions or concerns, I do have a motion prepared on the bottom of page 7, and it goes on to the top of 8. And I have prepared this motion to conditionally approve the Carter School, so long as they follow all the conditions to submit all outside agency approvals, and that the town engineer's comments would all be adequately addressed. So you can take a moment to read over that, but if you're ready, that motion is there for you.
Does anybody have any additional questions or comments? In that case, I'll entertain a motion at any point.
I motion to approve.
Yes, if you will read off on the bottom of page 7, the motion
Okay.
onto 8.
I move the planning commission to conditionally approve the Carter School site plan dated May 19th, 2021, as presented in the planning commission agenda dated June 21st, 2021, with the following conditions: all outside agency approvals must be received, and all outstanding town engineer and town planner comments must be adequately addressed prior to the approval signature from the town zoning administrator.
Second.
Duly moved and seconded. Roll call, please, unless there's a discussion. No discussion? Roll call, please.
Weir,
Aye.
Mason,
Aye.
Hallett,
Aye.
Correll.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes.
Old business. You have anything for us, Emily?
We're continuing to work through the zoning ordinance update. Before each of our meetings, we're having work sessions, so I encourage any of the public who has been following along to make sure that they watch those work sessions or come at 6 o'clock. We will be bringing the drafts to the Planning Commission on July 19th at our next regular meeting, as well as the work session beforehand at 6. Otherwise, Transform Power Yoga will most likely have its site plan to us for the next meeting, and that will be in the third submission to the town. So that means that they've already gone through and addressed about 95% of our comments, so they're looking really good on getting their approval. We just received their updated plan on Thursday, so we hope to have that to the Planning Commission very soon. And that's for the property right off of Hunting Path Road. Other old business, so that the commission is aware, the Starbucks SUP application was denied by the town council. I am working with the developer and landowner to schedule a meeting to discuss the next steps, as well as possibly amending or applying for a new SUP with the same user, the same drive-through user, but doing a significantly different application, thus requiring it to come back to the Planning Commission for a public hearing and a new application. So I will keep the commission up to date on that. Again, that just happened today that we started that discussion, so very fresh. That's all the information I have for you on it right now. Otherwise, that is the only old business, unless anybody has any questions.
I've got one little piece of old business, and I wish Dottie hadn't left, because it's on one of those rare occasions where I actually agree with Dottie to a degree. I want to call everybody's attention to the old. Let's go through this one more time. The historic district. I understand what Dottie's saying about the intent at the time was 50 years at the time and no rolling forward. But the devil's in the details, and whoever wrote the zoning ordinance and whenever it was written well before I sat up here, so I want to say it was done, God, late 80s, early 90s, I think. That's not how they wrote it. It's written in order to promote the general welfare through the preservation and protection of historic places and areas of historic interest. All buildings within the old and historic town of Haymarket, which are 50 years or older, are designated historic buildings, period. There's no start date, there's no end date, so by construction, and this is the problem with this portion of the ordinance, because of the construction of that language, it's a rolling date. And every year, it moves the date forward, which is why buildings that are currently not historic have become historic just by their age, and very soon places like Long Street Commons will, and that's why it's got to change. It's also one of the reasons that we have received legal counsel on at least 3 occasions that I'm aware of, that if we leave this unaddressed and we leave the historic district across the entirety of the town, we are likely subject to challenge and likely subject to losing that challenge. Therefore, we need to address both the text and the map and take the areas that it cannot apply to out. That simple. I agree with Dottie with respect to the intent, but again, the devil's in the details, and it just wasn't written that way. So it is what it is. Now we've got to fix it. New business, Emily?
No new business at this time. We'll start working on the comprehensive plan here in the coming weeks, and I believe we'll have some interesting correspondence with the county as they've provided some updates to their long-range planning. Most recently, to include some updates to what their environmental resources are and how they plan to rezone them in a future update. So I will get back to you guys on more information regarding that as it progresses, and we will be reaching out to the county to have a meeting with them. Otherwise, I do not have any additional new business at this time.
All right, ARB update.
Let me pull up my notes real quick. One moment. I don't think we really had anything crazy. We had the Lidl's sign plan, which we approved as it was mentioned earlier with the size limitations. We approved the signs for Lidl's as is, in terms of it meeting, as long as it meets the sign ordinance as it stands. But we did refer to them, understanding their plight, saying, we get it, it's difficult, and if and when the sign plans do change, you're more than welcome to come back and reapply for it, as long as it's okay with everything that we're saying. But we can only approve what we can approve according to the sign ordinance that we have, and that was it for that. And we also had Popeyes come in for their sign package as well. We approved them for most of it, I think, with certain limitations regarding pathfinding signs. I think saying welcome, thank you, until we had more concrete plans for those. I think that was it for ARB.
Emily, if they get approved for X square footage, and it goes entirely through the process, and prior to actual construction and hanging of the sign, the zoning ordinance changes and allows them a larger sign, that's something that you would do administratively under a sign permit?
So as it currently stands right now, they would have to come in and they would have to amend their application, and it would have to go to the ARB.
Okay.
That is not one of the items that is administrative at this time. However, that is what we recommended to the applicant, is that the time they actually go to hang the sign, before they order it, they may check back, because we could have an updated ordinance at that time that could allow for a larger sign.
I think past that, there's really nothing else. I mean, I guess it would be a question of who would be the next ARB liaison for the Planning Commission. But that, obviously, I abstain. I'll have to abstain from that. But yeah.
Yes, so that is, as I mentioned before, this is Ayush's last night. His term does expire here at the end of the month. So thank you again for all your years of service. He does serve as our ARB liaison. That is a position that we will appoint at next month's meeting, so give it some thought. We will need to fill that.
No.
I don't believe that you can be on it
Good.
as council liaison because we already have another council liaison
Good.
on there.
I'm disqualified. I'm thankful.
So, Rob, I'm not saying all eyes are looking at you, but we'll have to talk with the other two commissioners as well.
Okay.
So, just give it some thought if you don't mind. It is, so everyone's aware, it is the third Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m.
Okay.
All right, quick council update. As Emily just noted, we just literally today received a county comp plan amendment map that poses more questions than answers, and particularly causes, I think, both of us at least immediate concern with respect to the environmental areas surrounding town that the county has control of, and they're making some, at least in my view, questionable decisions. We'll bring something forward at the next meeting. Planning Commission was reduced to 5 people at the last meeting, correct? Starting July 1. For those who have been following along, the county approved the first of 3 data center applications at the corner of 55 and Kit Harpin last week. Look for that nightmare to come and bring with it a power line issue in all likelihood. More to come. As was noted, the SUP for the Starbucks was denied. We're in the process of hiring the 5th police officer, correct? I believe this week.
That I'm not entirely sure.
That was mine. I
But
could be.
it is very
Don't hold me to that. And then last but not least, yes, we did authorize the purchase of a canopy for the playground. My understanding is it's got a 10-year lifespan.
Yes, so we can pull that information. So the steel structures themselves are engineered. It has a 10 to 15-year lifespan. The shade itself also has a 10-year lifespan. With all things out in the sun, it will fade over time. We've picked a darker green color in hopes that when it does fade, it won't be as bad as quick. And then it is something that comes down seasonally, so it'll be taken down mid-October range, probably right after Haymarket Day. We will make sure it's cleaned and stored properly in a nice container that is sealed from rodents, what have you, so we don't have holes in it. And then that will be stored for the winter months, and then we would look to put it back up sometime in probably early May, just to kind of avoid any late snowstorms, ice, heavy winds, things of that nature. So it's really going to be up May to October. And then if for some reason we were to get a hurricane or a really bad windstorm would be predicted for our area, we'd have a crew come in and take it down for storage.
I think we should also note that hopefully it will preclude the sun damage that we've already seen occurring.
Yes, we did have 1 or 2 slides that had a lot of sun damage, and there was a small, I call it a speed bump, but it was where the plastic had kind of warped out on the slide. And so as kids were going down, they had a little bump in the slide. It right now is not causing any major harm. The children do not get, projected off of the slide. It is not that severe. It's just,
That would be.
it's just a small bump, but that is under warranty, and those will be replaced this season. So we are waiting. There's a little bit of a backlog with materials and manufacturing just from all the COVID stuff from last year. So that is something we're working on. And then also one other statement that Mr. Payne had just to address, this large amount of money is a one-time fee. This is something that the council voted on. Any additional fees after would just be maintenance or cleaning. So typical having somebody come in, if we get a lot of leaves, debris on it, they would come in and clean it for us so that we can maintain its longevity. And then if we were to have to replace it for any reason, we hope that it would last its full 10 years under warranty, but we would then evaluate at that time. Replacing just the shade, the post should be good for a very long time.
All right. Anybody have anything else they wish to state or say?
Is this all going to take place after the construction and the upgrades? Wasn't there a plan to totally
So the shade is
that
going to take place prior to
Okay.
the construction, so we're still kind of waiting to determine what will be done with the whole park property. What we're noticing, and was brought to our attention by one of our council members, is that the playground sits in direct sun the entire day.
Right.
And so we wanted to provide a little bit cooler of an option in the summer months for the kids to play, be out of the sun, not be baked in the sun, also help maintain our equipment.
Okay.
As far as the rest of the project goes, I mean, I know council's looking for a lot of input on this. I think the immediate thought is take care of the sidewalk, the curb and gutter, and all of that material from the stormwater first, and then progress to whatever is next. I won't be around for it, but, pavilion or
You might be around
Structure.
for it.
No.
If you recall, we might also have someone who's interested in doing a public-private partnership with the town for the property. So
There you
there
go.
is a possibility that that'll come to us sooner rather than later. So,
All right, anything else? I'll entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to adjourn our meeting for Monday, June 21st, 2021.
Oh, do I need to state? Yes. Yes. So I also this will be my last night. I'll be resigning my position with the commission due to potential upcoming conflict of interest. So I really appreciated working with you guys, and Godspeed.
Thank you. I'll take that motion again.
Make a motion to adjourn our regularly planned meeting for Monday, June 2021.
For a second.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let's go. 40 minutes. Cool.